It's Levi Shore. Welcome back to Sweet and Good Torah. Are you awake? We're in the month of Elul. We're about to enter into a very special year. It's almost Rosh Hashanah. It's almost Yom Kippur. It's almost Chag HaSukkot, the holiday of Sukkot. And it's almost Shmini Atzeres. And it's almost Simchas Torah again. 1 year ago, they massacred us. They massacred us on October the 7th. And we've seen it's almost a year now. And there's still hostages in Gaza. We saw disgusting, horrifying, sad, ripping your soul apart images, videos of these young women taken to Gaza with pants filled with blood. And what's happened? What's happened since then? Have we cried out to Hashem in prayers and tefillah all year? Have we said, no more? This gullus must end. This exile must end. It's time for the Gula. It's time for Mashiach. Are we going to dance this year on Simchas Torah? Are all the Jews going to finally dance with the Torah this year on Simchas Torah? Are we going to come together as one people? It's time to bring all these hostages home. And I think there's been 700 to 800 Israeli soldiers that have been killed. We accept it all. This is not the way the world's supposed to be. How did we get so tricked? How did we get so fooled? So they told us in Europe, said, leave the ghettos. Leave the ghettos, come to the universities. You'll be citizens now. You'll be just like us. Just leave Hashem, your God, and leave the Torah back in the ghetto and join us in the secular enlightenment. How did it go? How did the secular enlightenment go? How did the reform movement go when they ate pork on Yom Kippur? How did it go listening to the Erev Rav and the Jewish people? We were slaughtered. We were slaughtered in the Holocaust. How did their secular enlightenment go? And then Herzl and Ben Gurion, they promised us, the Zionists redemption. Just once again, come to Eretz Yisrael, come to the holiest land in the world, but leave. Leave Hashem, your God. Leave the Torah. We'll build Zionist secular schools. How did it go? How did it go? War after war, intifada after intifada. Slaughter on October the 7th. And what have they done to rescue the Jewish hostages? Because they're worried about public opinion. They're worried about world leaders. Who? Which world leaders? The world leaders of Europe and America who have funneled billions, hundreds of billions of dollars to the terrorists, to Iran, to attack the Jewish people? How is it going without Hashem and his Torah? How is it going? Is it time to wake up yet? Is it time to leave this exile? And how's it going in America? How's it going? The Democrats are going to save you? The Democrats are going to save you? It's time to wake up. Joe Biden's running this country. The man can't even run himself. It's a joke. Everyone knows that election was stolen. And I don't care how much you whine and complain. The election was stolen and everyone knows it. And only if you're so brainwashed into voting for the Democrats do you not get it. And Kamala Harris, all they can talk about is appeasing the Arabs who slaughter the Jews. And you think they're on your side? The Biden administration freed up $100 billion to give to Iran to slaughter the Jewish people. You going to wake up yet? Oh, but Trump's going to save you, right? Trump? Donald Trump, the man that can't stop talking about himself. But he's going to uplift us all, right? He moved the embassy. It's good. Mazel tov. He's slightly less anti-Semitic than all the rest of the presidents. I mean, Jerusalem is the capital even of the secular state of Israel. He moved the embassy. Mazel tov. Was it so hard to recognize Jerusalem as the capital, which it is? And Yerushalayim, the holy capital of Eretz Yisrael. We've lived there for 4,000 years. And they say it's not ours. So how's it going? How's it going, all this secular enlightenment? Is it time to wake up yet? So what's the other side? What's the sweet? What's the good? Hashem's our God. There's only one infinite being. And as much as the sons of Esav want to pretend that some son of some Jewish woman thousands of years ago who became a sorcerer after he was kicked out of rabbinical school, they want to pretend that man's God. That's not God, folks. God's an infinite, all-powerful being. And the sons of Ishmael, with their rock god in the middle of the Meccan desert, they want to pretend that they're now the chosen people. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to be who we really are. And what makes us special, what makes us a nation separated from all the other nations, is that our avos and our imachos, our fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and our imachos, the mothers, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. They chose the Torah. They chose Hashem. They chose to create a special relationship for their children, for us. And Hashem brought us out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt, with miraculous miracles. He ripped apart the natural world, the physical world. The laws of physics were torn apart. And Hashem shows this is his creation, and he runs the world. And he sent us Moshe, and Aaron, and Miriam. He sent us Moses and Aaron, the Kohen, and Miriam. And he brought us out of Egypt to show his love for the Jewish people. And he brought us out in a miraculous fashion. And then he split the Red Sea and did more miracles for us than he did for us even in Egypt. And then he brought us to Har Sinai, Mount Sinai. And he spoke to us. This infinite being spoke to us. And we heard the Aseres Adibros, the 10 Commandments were spoken to us. And we were given these lukos, these sapphire lukos. And we have a mission to do. We have a covenant that we entered. Avraham Avinu in the Hebrew year of 2023, entered into a covenant, the Bris Bein HaBasarim, the covenant between the parts. It's a special relationship between us and Hashem. So you're going to listen to all the people that hate us. You're going to listen to all this secular enlightenment. It's time for us to wake up. It's time to open up our hearts again to each other. And it's time to see what really unites us, that we are a special nation, and that we can bring greatness to the world. We can bring the wisdom of the Torah. We can bring how to have a close relationship, the knowledge of how to have a close relationship with Hashem, the infinite being, the only one, to the whole world. And then we can truly be the Or LaGoyim. Hashem's promised us that he will give us the land. But he's given us the instructions of how we need to do it. We learn the Torah, we do the mitzvahs, we make the world better, we make ourselves better. And Hashem's going to lead us back, and Hashem's going to give us land. And each Jewish family will have a vast estate, a portion of the land of Israel, the holiest land in the world. And even though everything now is this little tiny little piece that the whole world, demands that the Jews don't even build a house on, Hashem's promised more than that. He promised us Goshen, the Delta Valley in Egypt, the luscious, most fertile part in the northern part of Egypt where Alexandria once stood, the Delta region. That's Goshen. That's what Hashem promises. And that's the Suez Canal, people. He promised us the Sinai Desert. Who does it belong to? Who received the Torah in the Sinai Desert? All of Israel proper. Part of Lebanon. You hear that, Hezbollah? Part of Syria. You hear that? All of Jordan. Remember, we got it in the Balfour Declaration, but they gave it to the Arabs after they started to riot. All Jordan, where the tribes of Reuven and Gad and half of the tribe of Manasseh used to live. The Bashan region, the Arnon, Ammon, Moab, southern part, Petra, where the ancient Edom used to be. Any of this sounding familiar? And then Iraq. Yes, folks. the land of the once evil dictator Saddam Hussein, all the way to the Euphrates, where the great yeshivas in Bavel stood, all the way to the Euphrates River. That's the massive portion of land that Hashem has promised us. And it gets better than that. The 7 species which we see in this week's parsha do the mitzvah bikurim. The greatest wheat in the world will be grown in the land of Israel. I'm sorry. Have the Zionist commie farmers produce the best wheat in the world, where the world rushes to taste the great wheat and barley of Eretz Israel? Does the world rush to taste the best grapes in the world, the best wine in the world, from the Judean hills to Mount Hermon? And is it really green and lush in the garden yet? Because that's where Gan Eden was. That's where the Garden of Eden was, in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, on that Har Zion, Mount Zion, the real Zion, the Temple Mount, where the 2 temples stood, and the third one will be rebuilt. Bizrat Hashem soon. The grapes. Is the world rushing for the commie Zionist grapes? I don't think so. And the figs, and the dates, and the date honey, the land flowing with milk and the honey of the dates, and the pomegranates. Is the world rushing to taste the great produce of Eretz Yisrael? Because it's not. It's still a desert. Because until the Torah flows, until the Jewish people learn the Torah and do the mitzvos, until we're all together again in the land of Israel with a Melech, with Mashiach, with our King, Mashiach ben Yosef and Mashiach ben David, until we dance on Simchas Torah with Hashem and His Torah, until we're one people again, it's still a desert. It's barely begun to bloom. But in Yechezkel, in the Nevuah Yechezkel, in the prophecy of Ezekiel, he tells of the mighty spring, this natural spring beneath the Temple Mount, and it's going to burst forth. And one river is going to rush out to the east, and it's going to purify the Yam HaMelach, the Dead Sea, and it's going to become alive again, and it's going to become a fertile region where those 5 great metropolitan cities once stood, but destroyed by their own wickedness, Sodom and Amorah, Sodom and Gomorrah, and the rest of the 5 cities there. It used to be one of the most richest places in the world, most fertile land in the world. Is called the Gan Hashem, the Garden of Hashem, the Gan Elohim. And it's going to be revived. And then another mighty river is going to rush out from under the Temple Mount to the west into the Mediterranean. And then Yerushalayim is going to become this garden again. And Hashem is going to bring down the Beis Hamikdash, Shalmaila, the temple that's above in the spiritual worlds. And the whole world will see the Shekinah once again sit on the Aron HaKodesh, the Ark of the Covenant. When's it time? How many more years must we wait? Let's make it this year. Let's wake up now. It's Elul. It's time to remember who we are. It's time to be the great Jewish people that the world wants to see. The world wants to see miracles again. The world's sick of watching corrupt men and women run this world. They want to see the good, the righteous. They want to see them on top. They rule because they care about other people, because they want to uplift not just themselves, but the whole world. It's time. It's time to wake up. And it's time for the Jewish people to dance again as one people on Simchas Torah. Bizrat Hashem, may we see the coming of Mashiach quickly, and when we see the love flow between one Jewish person and the next, and when we see the love rekindled as wrote in the beautiful love song, Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs by Shlomo HaMelech, by King Solomon, and we'll see the love rekindled between the Jewish people and Hashem our God. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back again soon on Sweet and Good Torah.